Hey friends, welcome back in the pursuit of being wild and free. Like I mentioned in my last episode of how to date yourself, a concept that I've been loving for years. Sometimes I don't take my own advice, but over the years I have developed that concept and it's been popular over time. But getting to know yourself, right? And I shared a story on my last podcast about my time in Yellowstone and driving around the thumb of Yellowstone Lake and how the wolf just came out of nowhere. But before that happened, I listened to this voice, right? And that was the first time a really big voice came out of nowhere in my life. Normally, it's like a quiet voice or like a gut feeling, but literally, I heard words, which is so strange. But before that even happened, right? I learned how to build that intuition and that trust. And it's funny because I don't trust easily. And I actually have a tattoo. You can kind of see it that has the word trust, right? And for me, I don't trust a lot of people. I also don't trust myself. I have proven multiple times that I can't be trusted because I either went back on my word or I put myself in situations, not in traveling, but with people, with relationships. And funny enough, I got it with a random guy in Denver, which is going to be a whole different podcast. But uh, how does one build intuition, right? You're probably asking. And I don't think it's a linear thing to build trust and intuition. I think it takes time. I know it took me a very long time. I'm 38. I am not as gullible. I am not as trusting as I used to be when I was a kid. When I was a kid, as people told me, I was book smart, but not street smart. And living in DC, in the most powerful city in the world, and growing up and learning the hard way sometimes, I built that intuition. When sometimes it was questioned and sometimes beaten out of me as a kid. When people tell you you're not going to be successful or you're just thinking too abstractly, like that's not logical, that's not possible and stuff like that. When you have that told to you, you kind of don't trust yourself when deep down you have always known the answers, right? And so for me, getting out from the wings or getting out away from people who were not the greatest and when I started to travel and started to grow into my own skin, that's how intuition kind of worked for me. And you don't have to jump on an airplane, go to a foreign country to build intuition in your everyday life, right? I do suggest a few different exercises. One, go in your town, go in your city, away from anybody. Go by yourself. Walk the streets. Ask, make a right? Do I make a left? Or do I keep going straight? Do I walk into this pub? Do I walk into this museum? Ask yourself, how does it feel? What is your body telling you? What is your emotions telling you? Is your body saying, no, 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 no? Or is it, fuck yes, let's do this, right? Get to know your emotions and your body and how you feel. And also, most importantly, how don't you feel? Are you indifferent about a situation, right? And I think when you play with that, you kind of build this little trust of, huh, I made a right. This wasn't too bad. Oh, I made a left. Yep, let's back it up. Let's go somewhere else, right? And when you start to listen to that little voice by practicing those simple things, by taking the time to, again, date yourself, learning who you are, learning what your body's telling you, learning what you feel, that helps. And then once you're done being in this small town or the city, maybe you drive to a new city. Maybe you road trip to a new state. Maybe you jump on an airplane, go to a different state across the country or a different country in general. It doesn't have to be this grandiose thing to build the intuition, to build trust. And I know I said this in my last podcast. The only time I really listen to myself, sadly, and my is when I'm trapped. And it's not that I don't listen to myself in my everyday life. I do. I do. But people around me have constantly dismissed my advice, my thoughts, my expertise. Ooh, trust me, I have stories of people taking a notebook, slamming down on a conference table, and screamed and walked out because they didn't like an answer, even though I was a subject matter expert. And then the following week, they came back into that meeting. Girl, I'm not a girl. I'm a grown ass woman that has experience. But I digress. But I have people in my everyday life, and I know in your everyday life too, it's messed. You get pushed like it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry so much. Everything will be fine. But you know deep down, not everything's about to hit the goddamn fan. And guess what? You're the one who's going to get punished. And that is building the trust and the intuition and voicing it. Even when people dismiss you, even when people don't listen to you. And that's the hardest thing with yourself. And you remove yourself away from your daily, so magical. It's the greatest gift that you can ever give to yourself. But how do you balance between that life and your everyday life? Again, you need to practice that intuition. When a little voice in the back of your head saying, pick me, no, 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 let's not do this. Sometimes you have to have facts and statistics and other things to support your shouldn't do this or why you should. But when you're by yourself, you don't need logic. And sometimes you need to throw logic out of the window. For example, when people tell you, don't fly to a country or don't go here, you're going to get killed, you're going to be murdered, and you're going to be kidnapped, blah, 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 because it's not safe and people are terrible. You have to throw that out because you have to experience that. And I can't wait to discuss more of that talk later on this month about my disdain feeling and disdain liking of podcasts. But that's a different podcast episode later. To continuously build that intuition. Because scientifically, and it has been proven, that when you do listen to your intuition, it literally saves lives. It literally saves millions. It, it builds confidence. It might even solve all the craziness in the world. But I digress. I think when you are trying to build that relationship, it goes back. Who am I? What am I? Do I really like this? Do I not really like this? And when you start to answer those questions, then walking down a street with no plans and throwing all your plans out and wandering about will bring so much entertainment, learning, and experiences. There's times, and again, to those who don't believe me, I am very less type A when I'm by myself traveling. There are times I just wander the streets. I don't have a plan. I don't know where I'm going, and I just go. There's times when I'm on a hike, don't know where I'm going. A general direction. I want to see a lake. I want to see a mountain. I want to get lost in a good way. When you put down the plans and put down the logic and just be, comes around. Because when you do get lost on a hike or when you are wandering around the streets and it answers the questions before you even ask them. I don't want to go this way. This seems a little too advanced for me. Let me back out. Let's keep moving to a different direction. And you can do that in your everyday life too. Could be taking a different route home from work. Getting out of your stagnant, same old daily routine. It could be just talking to a random stranger right next to you. Or when a random stranger sits down next to you and you have a weird feeling about something, you get up and move. You don't have to stay where you're at. You can move. If something doesn't feel right, again, going back to your body. What is your body telling you? What is your heart telling you? Or not telling you? When I teach aerial yoga and I teach a workshop sometimes about dating your body, dating yourself, which I got the notion about dating your body from my yoga teacher. Thank you, Gabby. I lit up because when we are playing a sport or whatever the case may be, we have to take stock of what our body is telling us. And sometimes, or I think majority of the time, our bodies stop talking to us, and it's that silence that answers a lot of questions. And you know what I'm talking about. There's texting somebody a question, or trying to fix a friendship. Silence is an answer as well. In your body or yourself. What is that void, that silence telling you? So, that, my friends, is how you build intuition in a very long, roundabout way. Do something small and keep making these small things. And then you can take it up a notch and another notch and another notch. And maybe you decide to jump off of a boat and go swimming with sharks, which I do recommend. Best experience of my whole life. But I hope you found this helpful. From dating yourself to how to build your intuition, how to build trust. And maybe, just maybe, when you trust You can do a better job than me bringing it in your daily life and not allowing people to frustrate you like I sometimes do when they don't listen to you. Again, that intuition's telling you something. People don't listen to you and they constantly dismiss you. There's an answer. Again, you have the ability to move. You have the ability to change. You have the ability to do some really fucking amazing things. So let's go on an adventure, shall we? And have you meet yourself in a whole different light. I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you later.